Hello, this is Tom Compton again, and I'm thrilled to welcome you to Pursuing the Muse. Today, we're joined by Lucy Kaplansky, a New York folk singer-songwriter who took a detour as a psychologist before returning to music with acclaimed solo albums and supergroups such as Cry, Cry, Cry. Lucy and I discuss her new career retrospective album, The Lucy Story, and her unique songwriting process, co-writing with her husband, and the emotional impact of songs like Last Days of Summer and 10-Year Night. Without further ado, here's Lucy.
Last days of summer are coming on fast. Was hoping August wouldn't end, but it never lasts. She's filling boxes with blankets, books, and clothes. No longer a child, unafraid, ready to go. I've seen New York's treasures celebrated and down, and also those not made of stone or steel. Stories of my town, like the song of the exile, the men who drive the cabs, as they live the story of our city and the promise of our flag. Open your eyes and look at me, and look at me. Open your eyes and look at me. 'Cause I haven't hold this love for you before this 10-year night is through. I'm telling you, take it from me.
Hello, this is Tom Compton again. I am here with Pursuing the Muse, and I am so excited today. We have Lucy Kaplansky joining us all the way from New York City. Lucy, how are you doing?
I'm good. Nice to be with you.
Excellent. Thank you so much for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Oh, sure.
And then a lot of times with guests, I jump right in and I ask, how did you get started writing songs?
Writing songs. I started writing songs when I was a teenager, and they were all really awful. After I discovered Joni Mitchell, I wanted to be Joni Mitchell, and then did a little bit more in my 20s. Then there's a long story that you can ask me about or not, where I took a detour, became a psychologist, and then I came back to music, and my husband, who I was married to by that time, and I started writing together, and then we started writing in earnest. And so I guess I wanted to be Joni Mitchell. By the time I was about 15. That's how I got started.
Yeah, I know the feeling. I wanted to be Eric Clapton once upon a time.
There you go.
So since you started in music before going into psychology, what changed about your perspective on music that drew you back?
Well, it wasn't my perspective. It was my own personal discovery that I had actually been running away from the thing that I loved. And ironically, figured that out right around the time I finished my psychology doctorate, that I really wanted to be a singer. And actually figured it out with a really good therapist. So that's what happened. I realized that I should never have left music.
Got you. And then since you had a practice, correct, as a psychologist?
I did. I worked as a psychologist for 5 years. And then, of course, I went back to music right after I got the degree because I figured out I wanted to sing. And I started to get so busy with music, I couldn't work as a psychologist anymore. And that was almost 30 years ago, 29 years ago, that I gave up psychology.
Okay. And that ties right into your new record, mentioning it's kind of a 30-year retrospective in a way, right? You got a new record out called The Lucy Story.
Yeah. It's actually a 50-year retrospective.
Okay.
It's 49 because the first one of the songs on it I recorded when I was 16 in my bedroom. So that was a long time ago.
Oh my gosh, like a little cassette tape.
Yeah, little cassette tape.
That's awesome. That's the James Taylor song, right?
Yes, yes.
Very cool. So how much of the new record is, because there's a lot of covers on there. How much of the new record is covers versus original songs?
Oh, it's all covers except for one song.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's one song that actually I already had recorded, but I found this live version with this really great band, and I was just getting ready. I was just putting the album together, and my husband said, "My God, that's really good," and you should include it. And I thought, well, I just put that out on another album. He said, "Who cares?" Because it's really different than the other version. But anyway, everything else is cover songs.
Is that I Know Why the River Runs?
No, it's Last Days of Summer.
Okay. All right. So yes, that's one of your big ones. So yes, but isn't I Know Why the River Runs? That's from Cry Cry Cry, which you were in?
Yeah.
But you didn't write that one?
No, Julie Miller wrote it.
Oh, okay. So I have a thing about rivers. I love songs about rivers. So that one like drew me in right away.
Well, it's a beautiful song. My God.
Yeah, that one really showcases harmonies and everything. So that one's not just like a great song. It's also a great vehicle as a performance piece.
That's why I included it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You knew what you were doing.
Sometimes.
So with your practice as a psychologist, I'm just curious, did having patients with different stories, did that become a part of who you became as a songwriter?
I mean, not in any conscious way. I think just the whole becoming a psychologist, which, I mean, certainly my own discoveries about myself in my own therapy, but also learning about psychopathology and conflict and motivations and what makes people tick. I think all of that impacted my worldview. I mean, I feel like I'm just more insightful about people for sure than I ever would have been. And that can't help, I think, but affect writing because it's part of my worldview.
Right. The skill of being an observer.
Yeah.
Will just make you write better songs.
I think that's right. Exactly.
Excellent. So we mentioned Cry, 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 and you've been in a couple supergroups, folk supergroups. Cry, Cry, Cry had Dar Williams and Richard Shindell.
Yeah.
And then you were in Red Horse.
Yeah. John Gorka and Eliza Gilkyson. Yeah.
Now, is working in that sort of arrangement, how does it differ with working as a solo artist?
Oh, it's so different. Well, first of all, so there's pros and cons to both. I mean, working as a solo artist, you have total freedom to do whatever you want in the moment. But it's also, on stage. But also, it's a whole lot harder and more stressful to carry the whole show. Working in a group is, you don't have the same freedom because you kind of locked into certain songs, certain harmonies, a set list. But it's so incredibly wonderful for me to sing with other people. I mean, sing and play with other people. It's like, I think that's really my favorite thing to do is collaborate. So I love collaborations.
Wonderful. Did you write any songs in those groups, or were you all bringing your own songs?
Well, Cry, Cry, Cry was all cover songs, except for one song by Richard Shindell. Red Horse, Eliza Gilkyson had this cool idea. Why don't we record each other's songs? So we each did one of each other's songs. We each did one of our own songs, and then we each did a cover by somebody else. So they were kind of different, but a lot of cover songs in both projects.
Gotcha. That's Did it feel like it was more a chance to spread your wings as a performer, doing the harmonies and stuff versus exploring the songwriting craft itself?
Oh yeah, because neither of those really involved songwriting.
Okay,
Yeah.
right. Because there were the other musicians like in Red Horse. Did they know the songs that you were bringing, or did you guys kind of have to teach them to each other?
We taught them to each other. Yeah.
Okay. Nice. And then were both groups based out of New York?
No. Well, let's see. Cry, Cry, Cry. Dar was living in Massachusetts. Richard was living north of New York City. I was living in New York City. And Red Horse, John Gorka lives in Minnesota, and Eliza Gilkison lives in Texas. So no, we were never in the same city.
Okay. And did the geographic differences cause a problem in bringing about what you wanted to do?
Cry, 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 no, because we all just converged just north of New York City and spent like a week rehearsing and then a couple of weeks recording. So that was easy because we all lived close enough to north of New York City. Red Horse, what we did was we recorded individually and flew each other tracks to sing on our own. So we were never in the studio together, which was kind of an interesting way to make a group record, but there was no way we could all be in the same city. It just wasn't going to happen.
Right. Thank goodness for some aspects of technology.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the things you can do now, my God, it's amazing.
Hopefully AI won't replace music or songwriters in general. What's your take on AI?
Oh, that is a very big question. I don't know. I know hardly anything about AI. I definitely, just like everyone else, think it's amazing, but it also is scary. And I like to think that, well, I know AI can write songs, but the one thing AI cannot do is get up on stage and perform. So I'd like to think that my job and musicians like me who perform cannot be replaced by AI. I think a lot of jobs can be, but so I'm not worried about my own job. But it's a concerning topic that I think would make for a whole other podcast.
Right. Yes. Hopefully it's not Pandora's box opening, but I think the lack of soul that AI has is ultimately its downfall.
Well, I hope so. I hope you're right. I don't know.
Have you seen like the hologram tours, like Elvis's hologram?
I haven't, but I've heard my friends went to an ABBA hologram tour. And the amazing thing was, I mean, granted, they weren't up close. They didn't realize.
No way.
Wait, is that right? Well, I don't know. I think they didn't realize it was holograms. No, I haven't, but I've heard about it, and that is a freaky thing.
It's so weird.
Yeah, no, it's so weird. I mean, I don't think I'd want to go to such a concert, but I don't know. It would be interesting, I guess.
Right. Yeah, as a scientific experiment, I might like check it out for a few minutes, but I can't imagine it's not just so creepy.
Yeah, creepy and kind of, I don't know, dead in some way, I would think.
Yeah. Remember what they used to say about the movies with the early CGI, like the uncanny valley? I think Roger Ebert coined that term about like special effect humans. Back in the day, there was a movie called Uncanny Valley, and they just looked dead behind the eyes.
Oh, no, I never heard that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So at least we got, with music, this is a living, vibrant thing. And the energy, I just don't think it can be replaced.
I don't think so either. I don't see how that's possible. Not by AI. Maybe something else will come along.
Right. That's true. I mean, I guess things could advance and our culture could be dumbed down.
Yeah.
To accept. All right. Now I'm getting depressed. I'm just kidding. Anyway, so let's talk about New York. What is it about New York that makes it such a folk mecca? Because like I'm in Chicago, you think Chicago, the blues, Nashville, country music. with folk music, man, it's New York. So what is it about New York that makes it such a folk music hotbed?
Well, it isn't anymore. Not that I know of, unless you know something I know. I mean, that I don't know. It certainly was in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s. There were, especially based around this club Folk City, that closed 40 years ago. So there was a real Mecca. I think it kind of dissipated all around the country. I mean, I'm sure there are folk venues, but I don't even know about them, and I live in New York. So, yeah, I think that all ended.
Okay, because I see, there are artists, and I keep seeing them in Brooklyn, like Olivia Ellen Lloyd or Dustin Lohman, and it feels like there's something. Maybe it's on the way back, but I don't. It just seems to me from Chicago that New York, it has a folk connection that won't die or go away.
That's news to me. I didn't know that. I mean, they must know about venues that I don't even know about and that I don't play. I mean, New York is the center of everything. So I guess it's not a big surprise that a lot of like singer-songwriter types would gravitate there. It's just center of, art and culture.
That's true. That's true. Because New York has like everything.
Yeah.
And it's big enough that it has everything to a sizable quantity.
Absolutely.
But I mean, it looks like, to me, the singer-songwriters aren't just like New York. It's like Brooklyn. Are you in Brooklyn?
No, Manhattan.
Okay, you're in Manhattan. Okay. So you got to cross the bridge.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so did a long time ago, you moved from like releasing on labels to self-releasing your material. What brought that about?
Yeah, so I was on a wonderful label, Red House Records, for a long time. And the music business really changed in kind of the early 2010s when music streaming, just started to decimate music sales. People do not buy music anymore. They listen to Spotify or Pandora. So what used to support, be a huge source of support for musicians, which was CD sales, kind of disappeared. And I was, so there's a couple of things. Record companies went out of business. They weren't going to spend any real money anymore on production of your records because they weren't going to sell. So it's sort of like the model didn't make sense anymore. So I ended up going out on my own, and I was walking the dog. Let's see, I guess this was like 7 years ago, one day, thinking about how am I going to put out another album? And it occurred to me, well, if people won't buy your music because it's streaming, what if I put out music that isn't streaming? And the only way they can hear it is the old-fashioned way, by buying it. So I called my husband, and he said, great, do it, don't overthink it. And it turns out, I think it was kind of a smart idea. So my last 3 albums, including this one, are only available through me. That's another thing. I cut out the middleman. So I am the only seller of these CDs and downloads. And people, and they're not streaming. So I make that known, like when I do shows, I make it known that they can't get these albums. They're not going to be able to hear them on Spotify, and they buy them. So I think it's worked out pretty well. And I'm getting all the profit. Like I never did on a record company. I mean, the record company got most of the profit. So it's worked out pretty well for me, I got to say.
Yeah, that's nice, because I mean, if Spotify is giving you 0.0001 cent.
Yeah, it's basically they're giving your music away.
Right. Well, that's great to hear that it's a viable business model, because I think a lot of people are leery of it, that, oh, I've got to be on streaming. It's, that's where the influencers are.
Yeah, I mean, I guess there's truth to that. I mean, I think if you're starting out, I don't know that this would work. I have a fan base, so I figured I'll sell it to my fan base. And
Right.
that's worked pretty well. I think it's worked for me, in other words, because I had an established base, but I don't know if it would work for other people. I don't know. It's like the Wild West right now, and nobody knows, what's going to happen. But I don't think this model of giving people's music away and the artists get basically nothing, I don't think that's sustainable. I think it's going to have to change. Musicians are getting just slammed financially.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like a musician survives now on a merch table.
Well, right, but they don't buy the merch anymore the way they used to, because they don't have to. That was my insight.
Yeah.
So in other words, yes, they do for people who've got stuff that's streaming, I guess. Yeah, they'll buy some to get the autograph or whatever, but not in the numbers they used to. Absolutely not.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. The music. I'm thinking like the T-shirts, the stickers.
Oh, yeah.
The keychain.
Yeah. No, I think that's the stuff. Yeah, that's the stuff that sells. I'm not doing any of that. I don't know that my crowd would buy them, but that is the stuff that actually sells.
Mm-hmm. Are you in your self-release stuff? Is vinyl in there, or are you just doing CD?
I haven't done vinyl. I'm not it's very expensive to make. I'm not convinced enough people would buy them to make it worth it. I haven't done it. It doesn't mean I won't ever do it, but I haven't done it yet.
So you got like a whole, you're on top of the business side of what you're doing. Is there a learning curve for like the other musicians out there that are thinking this might be a good idea to go down this direction?
A learning curve. Well, I'm good at this business stuff. I'm just naturally good at it. I'm very organized. I'm efficient. I think for someone who's not, it might be more challenging, or they might need to get someone to do it for them. I mean, it's a fair amount of work. I mean, I'm literally, for instance, I'm my own publicist. Because after years of working with publicists, I kind of learned how it works. I'm my own publicist, and what was I going to say? I don't remember what I was going to say, but it's something that comes naturally to me. I know what I was going to say, that there's a fair amount of work, especially when I put out an album initially. Like, I'm literally sending out CDs myself. You have to be willing to put in that time. And I think there's probably plenty of people who don't want to do that, but I was fine with it.
Mm-hmm. It's not so much that a newer artist should be intimidated, is maybe what I'm getting at, but
I don't know. I don't think so. It's all doable. I mean, this website I use is called Bandzoogle. For anyone out there who's listening, my friend Lucy Wainwright Roach told me about it, and it's incredibly user-friendly. It makes the online sales so easy, and it makes setting up the website so easy. So there are tools to use, and it also sells downloads for you. There are tools that make this stuff easier. I don't think it's hard. I didn't think it was hard. It's just you have to put in the time.
Right. I guess if you're invested enough.
If you want to do it.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about your co-writing with your husband. How much of what you write these days is stuff that you're doing by yourself, and how much is co-written with your husband, Rick?
Well, it's really sort of a continuum. There have been lyrics that are almost fully formed. He's not a musician. He writes lyrics. There are lyrics he's brought to me, and then we kind of hashed them out together. I put them to music. There's lyrics we wrote together, sitting down in a room. And then there's lyrics that I've written, and then he helps me edit, fine tune. He comes up with, I mean, like a good example is I wrote this song 10-Year Night, which is my best known song, and years ago now. And I played what I had. And then he came up with the line, before this 10-year night is through. So that was his idea, which is the best line in the song, I think. So that was his idea. So it varies. But he's just so talented. His name is Rick Litvin, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
He's so talented, and he's taught me so much about writing and so much about editing. And he's an incredible editor. Incredible. He's also extremely honest with me. Like, if he doesn't think something's working, man, he will tell me. He's not going to, what's the expression, blow smoke? He just at all.
Nice. That is so valuable to have, like a resource you can trust.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. Does he have a day job in the writing?
Yeah. He's a film professor at NYU.
Nice. Wow. That's a great resource you got there.
You're not kidding. Yeah.
So I saw a review that talked about your voice as pure like a river and adaptable to so many different styles, country, folk, jazz. Is there anything you do to keep your voice in performance shape?
No, I don't seem to need to. It's weird. I vocalize some before I perform. But I don't know. I don't really do. No, the answer is no. I don't do anything. I just sing.
Excellent.
I mean, I'm not an opera singer. I can't sing Broadway show tunes. Like, I wouldn't be able to sing on Broadway. I don't have that kind of voice. There's limits to what I can do. But what I do, I know how to do.
Yes. Do you consciously adjust your voice for a different style of music?
Consciously. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's conscious. I'm sure I adjust my voice. Absolutely.
Okay.
But none of it is particularly conscious. It's just instinct.
When you first started out, did you have to hone your voice into what it's become?
I mean, I don't know that I honed. I learned to sing. I got better and better. I mean, when I listen to myself way back, generally speaking, I don't like the way I was singing. Like, the keys were too high. I just didn't know what I did best. And I know so much more about what works for me now. And I'm probably also just like looser as a singer and kind of more improvisational. So it's just, that was a learning curve for sure.
Okay. And were there things along the way that you recognized and adopted, or was it just an evolution that happened?
It was, no, nothing that I consciously adopted. That's a good question, and I'm not sure I really have an answer. I just it was trial and error figuring out what worked for my voice. Like, when I listen back to old albums, I wish I'd sung some stuff differently. Lower keys. I'm not, I wasn't at my best then. That's what I think.
Yeah, that's good and bad, because, I mean, I wouldn't say regret is the right word. But
no, not regret.
Yeah.
It's just learning.
Sure. And to be able to see that and appreciate that, I mean, really, I would imagine gives you gratitude for where you are now.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I'm proud of how much better I am. I mean, I feel like I never really thought I was a particularly good singer, like, early on. And that changed. Like, now I think, okay, I know how to sing. I'm a pretty good singer. I mean, I've gotten to that point.
Yeah. And I think, would you say that gives you an advantage of emoting a song, bringing a confidence, making the performance stage like something that you can invite people into and they're more receptive?
Yeah, I think all of the above. Yeah.
Nice. That's a good place to be.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
And I also wanted to ask, your father, Irving Kaplansky, he's like a renowned mathematician, right?
Yeah, he's no longer alive, but yes, he was very renowned.
And then how did that kind of environment growing up, how do you think that influenced you, the mathematical side?
I don't think the mathematical side really influenced me at all. I was never particularly interested in math. I was good at it, but what did influence me was he was also an amateur musician. He was a really talented piano player, and he was playing the piano all through my childhood. And, the songs he loved from like the 1930s and 40s. So there was just a ton of music in my house. That influenced me for sure.
Okay. Because I know, like, if you go down like the rabbit hole of like music itself into like Aristotle, and it's like music of the spheres, and it's all mathematics.
Oh,
Do you get any sense of that?
no. I mean, I know that in theory. I don't know what that means. I don't understand that. To me, it doesn't feel mathematical. Maybe one reason I'm good at it, especially like, I don't know, with my pitch and stuff is, I'm a very kind of left brain person, whatever that means. Like just very, I don't know what the word would be. I can't think of the word, but
Creative. That's the creative side, right?
no, I think, visual artists are more right brain. I'm more like, I'm good with details and good at math and analytic in a way that kind of comes naturally to me. And I think that might impact my musical ability, but you know what? I don't know. I don't know.
It just works out. It makes you a better observer. And again, like the psychology.
Yeah. Yeah.
So besides Joni Mitchell, who are some of the songwriter influences you have?
Well, first was the Beatles. Then I started listening to the radio when I was like 11. So pop music. And then Joni Mitchell when I was about 15. And that introduced me to, and then I started listening to FM radio. So James Taylor, I loved, Janis Ian, Joan Baez, the great sort of folk singer-songwriters of the 70s. And then when I was 22, someone turned me on to Graham Parsons and Emmylou Harris. And that really had a huge impact on me. I mean, the whole style, the songs. And then later, I discovered Steve Earle, who also really was an influence. Just his whole style, he's kind of he varies between very folky and like rock and country and brilliant songs. And his music has meant a lot to me.
Yeah, he's one of a kind.
Yeah.
Earlier this season, I talked to Eric Ambel, who played guitar for Steve.
Oh, I know Eric. Yeah.
Yeah, for 5 years. And he just had nothing but good things to say about Steve.
Yeah, Steve is I think he's really a genius.
Yeah, I've only been able to see him once. I want to see him with the full band, but
yeah,
even solo acoustic. Wow. He shines.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. He's great solo acoustic.
Yeah. So as a songwriter, do you have any like rituals or processes that you keep coming back to bring about the good songs?
I wish I had a way to come about the good songs. The only thing that has ever worked for me is just get myself to do it. So, and I've been much less effective at this lately, but there were times, especially like during the pandemic, when my ritual was I would sit down every morning like a craft and just face the page. Pick up my guitar, face the page. And if something happened, great. Most of the time, nothing happened or it wasn't any good. But that somehow has always ultimately led to something and eventually something good. So if anybody's listening, that's one really, and I got that advice from other people, like get yourself to do it. Ideally every day, just write every day. It's not going to just come to you out of the ether. There's this expression, I forget who said it. You want to be sitting in the chair waiting for the song to fall from the sky. Mm-hmm. But you got to sit in the chair and let it and make it possible for that to happen.
Do you ever get ideas when you're like out in the shower, or just like you don't, just kind of like in some zone of just like a rote behavior? And is that ever an opening for a song idea to come?
I don't know if that's ever led to a song idea. It certainly led to lines for a song, like out, when I'm out for a walk or driving somewhere where I'm just with my thoughts. That definitely, has not been often. And one time I woke up from a dream and came up with a line. So I think you just sort of have to have the, mental space, which is to say, not on your phone, not watching videos, just like, just either sitting with the page or just out with your thoughts. Sure. And that really facilitates it.
Yeah. Do you ever use like your phone voice recorder to capture ideas?
Oh yeah, all the time.
And how many nuggets of ideas do you think you have on your phone right now?
Hundreds. Oh, nuggets of songs. I have
like a line here and there.
I try out different melodies and stuff. Yeah. I have hundreds of those. Nuggets of ideas, a few.
And then of, say, the hundreds of little snippets, how many of those do you think you wind up getting back to?
A handful. Mostly they disappear. I mean, I don't mean they literally disappear, but I move on. It's sort of like that's just part of the process. In other words, so if I'm working on something, I record the way I'm thinking of it because I won't remember how I did it. So at least that way I have it to come back. I'll come back and listen like once or twice, but if it's not any good, then I'm not going to listen again.
Sure. Did you watch that Beatles 8-hour documentary, Get Back?
Yes. Incredible.
It seemed like there was a point where they said they would get an idea for a song, and if they didn't remember it at the end of the day, then it wasn't meant to be.
That's interesting. I don't agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, I guess they had enough ideas.
Yeah, they had so many. They had a plethora. Yeah.
And plus they had so many like great songwriters too. It's like,
I know. I mean, it was so unfair. Like 4 great songwriters. I mean, it's just an insane amount of talent.
Yes, that is, man, thank goodness we still got 2 of them around to appreciate.
I know. We're so lucky.
So let's talk about maybe some of your specific songs in general. How did Last Days of Summer come about? Do you remember the writing process for that?
A little bit. That one actually took about the least effort of most of my songs. I don't know why. My daughter was about to go to college, and I was just grieving at the idea of her leaving. And I must have just sat down, and some of those lines must have just come to me. Because it was July, I think, the end of July when I started writing it. Last Days of Summer coming on fast. I mean, that's how it felt. She was going to be leaving at the end of August. But other than that, I don't remember, except that it didn't take a lot of effort. It only took like 4 weeks to write, and which is nothing for me. Nothing.
Interesting. Yeah, that's such a great topic to make a song about. Because even as I still remember being 14 and sitting at the table in my kitchen, and the Kinks album Word of Mouth had come out, and they had a song, Summer's Gone.
Yeah.
And I was just grieving as a 14-year-old, like, I don't want to go back to school.
Yeah. Everybody grieves the end of summer. But then when you couple that with suddenly becoming an empty nester, when your life has been wrapped around being a mother, then it's really like a mourning period, or at least it was for me. And that is a song that I get more reactions when I play that live. I get more reactions to that than anything else. In other words, people come up to me and say, "Oh my God, that song made me cry." I all the time. I didn't write it for that reason. It just was the way I was feeling, but it definitely hit on something universal, which I think, ideally a good song needs to hit on something universal.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh, what a gift to get that kind of feedback.
Yeah, it is a gift.
Are there any other songs of yours that get really strong responses live?
Well, 10-Year Night. It's so old now that, people don't come up to me the same way because they've heard it so many times, but they do. People tell me a lot, like that song meant so much to them. It got them through their divorce, or they played it at their wedding or whatever. So that's one. Another one, from my most recent album. My God, what's it called? Jesus. I don't remember the names of my own songs. Song of the Exiled. That gets a pretty strong reaction, which is it was inspired by a cab ride my husband and I took long ago with a cab driver telling us a story, and then ended up being, I've taken so many cabs, and, you hear incredible stories, and they're all immigrants in New York. They're all immigrants. So you hear these incredible stories of, coming to the U.S., finding a better life, and people really respond to that song.
Wonderful. I'm just popping into my head. We were talking about AI earlier, and I'm thinking, well, they're starting to have those like driverless taxis.
I know. I wouldn't get in one.
And it's like, man, that's going to, on a different perspective, that's going to take away those stories that,
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. That's a very good point. You're right.
Our whole creative existence is threatened on multiple levels.
Yeah, cab drivers have a lot of stories.
Yeah. How about, can you tell me about the title track to Every Single Day? That's a great song. Great song.
Oh, thank you. So that was music by somebody I've worked with for years, incredible guitar player, Duke Litvin, who's been out with Bonnie Raitt for a couple of years. It was his music. And let's just put it this way. It was written about a musician I knew, who shall remain nameless, who I thought had a kind of very sad trajectory. So that's what it was inspired by. And the line, just for it, it's a pretty dark song. Every single day takes a piece of you away. That's pretty dark.
Right. Yeah. But it's all to get us to the other side, ultimately.
Well, or not.
Yeah.
Or not. That's the thing. Not everybody gets to the other side.
Right? Can be
alcohol,
It can be a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
So, well, oh my gosh. Well, Lucy, you've had such a great run. I'm not like eulogizing here or anything. You got great years ahead of you, but you've had this amazing career up to now. You've got the Lucy story, your latest release, and it's available through you on your website.
Yes.
What are some of the other places that people can find you?
Oh, I'm on all social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. So if any of you are on any of those, you can find me. Ideally, if you follow me or like me, you'll get my posts. And I post a lot of different stuff, including where I'm going to be playing. I am not on TikTok. I don't know how TikTok works. So I haven't done TikTok. I probably should. So those are the places pretty much.
Yeah. TikTok intimidates me. I feel like I'm too old for TikTok.
Yeah, no, me too.
So do you have a tour coming up? Any live dates around outside New York?
Oh, outside New York. I mean, how far? So,
Well, I'm in Chicago, so.
Well, I mean, I got gigs all over the place. I
right.
will be playing in New York. I think it's November 7th. But all of my dates are on my website, and that's the easiest way, LucyKaplansky.com. That's the easiest way to see. I will be in Chicago in the spring.
Oh, great.
I think in Palatine. Yeah, all over the place.
I love the app Bands in Town because I can put an artist in and then it lets me know.
Yes. So all my gigs are on there. Bands in Town. That's another resource.
So I will be watching for the Palatine date to pop up.
Yeah, it's called Hey Nani.
Oh yeah. I love Hey Nani. It's a great club.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, really nice room. So excellent. I am excited to hear that. So all right, well, Lucy, thank you so much for coming on Pursuing the Muse. It's been an absolute joy talking to you. Oh my gosh, such a great artist with such an illustrious career and many years ahead. So
thank you.
Just want to thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you, Tom. I appreciate you having me. This is fun.
You bet. And we'll see you, if nothing else, in Palatine.
Okay. Palatine, Illinois.
Yeah.